Have you ever noticed how many people talk about living longer, yet quietly grow weaker year by year? Most people never reach their early 80s, not because of bad luck, but because of small daily mistakes that slowly reduce resilience. These mistakes rarely feel dangerous. Many feel careful. Some even feel healthy. That is what makes them so harmful. Over time, they quietly drain strength. They strain the mind. They narrow daily life without making noise. What makes this unsettling is that millions of older adults repeat these mistakes every day, believing they are doing the right thing. The real loss is not just time. It is independence, confidence, and the ability to move through life without hesitation. The good news is this damage often begins quietly. That means it can also be interrupted quietly, but only if the warning signs are recognized early. This message matters most. If you are in your 60s or 70s, it matters even more. If staying independent is important to you, to understand how easily this happens, consider someone who believed they were aging well. They followed advice. They stayed organized. They avoided obvious risks. Then one ordinary moment changed how they saw everything. Not a dramatic event. Not a crisis. Just a small incident that revealed something had been weakening beneath the surface. What followed was not fear, but clarity. They began to notice patterns that had gone unquestioned for years. One of these mistakes is so common. Most people are making it right now. Another is often overlooked entirely, even by those who mean well. This video is not about panic. It is about awareness. Because imagine reaching later years, still steady on your feet, clear in your thinking, and confident in daily life. That future is still possible when quiet mistakes are replaced with simple awareness. Let's begin with the first mistake that silently weakens aging before most people realize it. Mistake 1. The medication multiplication trap. This first mistake often looks like responsibility. It rarely feels dangerous at the beginning. Many older adults slowly collect medications over the years. One prescription for blood pressure, another for cholesterol, something for sleep, something for pain, something for digestion. Each medication comes from a different appointment, a different doctor, a different moment in time. Because each pill is prescribed, most people never question the growing list. The real danger is not one medication alone. The danger is how they quietly interact. When 5 or more medications are taken together, the body must manage complex chemical combinations every day. These combinations can quietly strain the liver. They can thin the blood too much. They can dull thinking. They can weaken balance. Many people do not connect these changes to medication. They assume aging is simply catching up. Consider someone in their 70s who believed they were careful. Their bathroom cabinet slowly began to resemble a small pharmacy. Over time, unexplained bruises appeared. Energy faded. Simple tasks felt heavier than before. Nothing felt urgent, but something felt wrong. During a careful medication review, a quiet problem emerged. 2 medications served similar purposes, prescribed by different doctors, never compared side by side. On top of that, an over-the-counter pain reliever was taken regularly. Individually, each pill seemed harmless. Together, they quietly increased bleeding risk. This is how the trap deepens. A sleep medication causes daytime grogginess. To counter that, something stimulating is added. The stimulant upsets digestion. So antacids enter the routine. Those antacids reduce nutrient absorption. Weakness slowly increases. Each new symptom invites another pill. The original cause is never questioned. This cycle is common, and it weakens the body without raising alarms. The turning point comes when awareness replaces routine. Instead of adding more, everything is written down. Every prescription, every supplement, every over-the-counter pill. This simple list reveals patterns that were invisible before. Regular medication reviews begin. Not rushed conversations. Careful discussions. Questions are asked calmly. Is this replacing something? Or only adding another layer? Could timing changes reduce side effects? Could non-medication approaches help first? Coordination becomes essential. Doctors begin communicating with each other. Pharmacists become active partners. Under proper supervision, the list slowly shortens. As medications reduce, energy often returns. Thinking becomes clearer. Balance improves. Unexplained symptoms fade. Many people are surprised by this outcome. They realize some problems were not new conditions. They were side effects quietly stacking up. Joint discomfort may come from one drug. Sleep trouble from another taken too late. This mistake teaches a powerful lesson. More medication does not always mean better care. Sometimes it quietly weakens resilience. The goal is not refusing treatment. The goal is coordination and awareness. Medication should support life, not silently narrow it. And this is only the first mistake. The second mistake is even more common. It often begins at the dinner table. Mistake 2. The invisible poison in your pantry. This second mistake hides in plain sight. Not in a clinic. Not in a pill bottle. But in the kitchen. Many older adults believe their pantry looks sensible. Cereals labeled whole grain. Low-fat snacks. Sugar-free drinks. Canned soups for convenience. At first glance, these choices feel careful, even responsible. But behind many labels are ingredients that quietly accelerate aging. Nutrition experts often call these age accelerators. Foods that increase inflammation, stress cells, and reduce the body's ability to recover. The most common culprit is hidden sugar. A bar that looks wholesome can contain more sugar than a dessert. Sugar hides behind friendly names. Syrup, concentrate, maltodextrin. Many people never notice because the packaging feels reassuring. Artificial sweeteners create another problem. Sugar-free drinks often contain chemical sweeteners. These substances confuse appetite signals. They strain blood vessels. And they may increase long-term health risks. Even bread marketed as healthy can contain added sugars and fillers. But sugar is only part of the story. Low-fat snacks often replace fat with additives. Flavor must come from somewhere. These additives quietly burden digestion. They disrupt gut balance. They increase inflammation over time. Canned soups appear convenient and harmless, but many contain extreme sodium levels. One serving can deliver nearly a full day's salt allowance. Excess sodium quietly raises blood pressure. It strains the heart, and it increases fall risk through dizziness. Processed meats add another layer of damage. Nitrates and preservatives are commonly used to extend shelf life. These substances have been linked to faster cognitive decline in older adults. Yet the most overlooked danger is not food at all. It is hydration. As people age, the thirst signal weakens. Many older adults rarely feel thirsty. They assume everything is fine. In reality, the body still needs water. Instead, many rely on coffee, tea, or the occasional glass of wine. This creates mild dehydration. Not enough to feel dramatic, but enough to cause harm. Mild dehydration reduces concentration. It weakens balance. And it increases fatigue. Over time, it quietly strains the kidneys and increases the chance of falls. The wake-up moment often comes unexpectedly. During a grocery trip, labels are finally read carefully. Ingredient lists reveal long chemical names, multiple sugars, hidden salts. Foods trusted for years are quietly undermining health. Awareness changes everything. Simple rules replace confusion. Packaged foods are chosen carefully. 5 ingredients or fewer. No long chemical lists. Water intake becomes intentional, not reactive. Several glasses are consumed early, before evening, without disrupting sleep. Color returns to meals. Different vegetables, different fruits. Each day, natural nutrients replace processed calories. Snacks become simple. Nuts, seeds, fresh fruit. Sugary drinks are replaced. Herbal teas, water with citrus. Nothing complicated. Bread choices change. True whole grains replace refined versions. Processed meats slowly disappear. Fresh proteins take their place. Over several months, changes appear. Energy improves. Skin looks brighter. Joint stiffness eases. Blood sugar stabilizes. Inflammation markers quietly drop. An unexpected benefit appears. Grocery costs decrease. Less packaging. Less waste. The lesson is easy to miss. The most damaging foods rarely look dangerous. They are marketed as helpful, convenient, even healthy. The poison that weakens aging is often disguised as smart nutrition. If this feels familiar, you are not alone. Many people discover this mistake late, but awareness still matters. If this insight resonates, comment 2 below to let us know. And if you value calm, practical guidance, consider subscribing for future videos. Each episode focuses on awareness, not fear, because the next mistake is even more common. It has nothing to do with food. It begins with the decision to move less in the name of safety. Mistake 3. The mobility mindset spiral. This third mistake does not begin in the kitchen. It does not begin with medication. It begins in the mind. Many older adults experience a small fall, a slip, a stumble, a moment of shaken confidence. The body recovers quickly, but the fear lingers. The decision feels sensible. Be more careful. Avoid risks. Move less. At first, this feels protective. Stairs are avoided. Uneven paths are skipped. Outings become shorter. The goal is safety. But the result is the opposite. When movement is reduced, muscles weaken faster than most people expect. Balance begins to fade. Reaction time slows. Bones lose strength. The body quietly adapts to stillness. Fear creates a dangerous loop. Less movement causes weakness. Weakness increases fall risk. Higher risk increases fear. This is the mobility mindset spiral. Studies consistently show a painful truth. Older adults who restrict activity due to fear are far more likely to fall within a year. The attempt to stay safe often accelerates the very decline people fear. Consider someone in their early 70s who once moved confidently. After a minor fall, they begin choosing caution over movement. Within a year, stairs feel exhausting. Standing from a chair requires arm support. Everyday tasks demand more effort. Breathing becomes heavier. Legs feel unreliable. Confidence shrinks quietly. During a physical assessment, the truth becomes clear. Muscle mass has declined sharply. Balance scores have dropped. The body now resembles someone much older. The fear was understandable, but it quietly stole independence. The turning point is not bravery. It is understanding. Movement is not the enemy. Inactivity is. Muscles respond to challenge at any age. They do not care about birthdays. Even in later decades, strength can return surprisingly fast. The solution does not require intensity. It requires consistency. Small movements matter. A simple approach begins. Balance practice during daily routines. Standing on one leg near the sink. Short strength movements during television breaks. Gentle squats. Wall push-ups. Stretching before bed. Slow and controlled. At first, progress feels minimal. Balance lasts seconds, not minutes. But consistency changes everything. Within weeks, legs feel steadier. Within months, standing becomes easier. Fear loosens its grip. Functional movement becomes the focus. Carrying groceries evenly in both hands. Practicing rising from the floor safely. Walking on grass or gravel. To sharpen balance awareness. Movement becomes part of life again. Enjoyment matters. Group classes add laughter. Music adds rhythm. Dance improves coordination without pressure. Exercise stops feeling like punishment. It becomes play. The mental shift is profound. Challenges are no longer avoided. They are approached carefully. Stairs return to daily use. At first with support. Then without. Standing while cooking becomes normal. Television time becomes movement time. The body responds with gratitude. Balance improves. Bone strength stabilizes. Falls become less frequent. Then disappear. But the greatest change is internal. Fear no longer dictates decisions. Life expands again. Travel feels possible. Playing with grandchildren feels natural. Movement restores joy. The mobility mindset spiral is one of the most damaging mistakes in aging. Not because movement is dangerous, but because fear convinces people it is. The good news is powerful. This spiral can be reversed at any age. Strength is not reserved for the young. It is reserved for the willing. The question is not whether your body can respond. It is whether fear will continue making decisions. And fear is not the only silent threat. The next mistake weakens health in a different way. It does not affect muscles first. It quietly isolates the mind and heart. Mistake 4. The social isolation time bomb. This fourth mistake strikes quietly. It does not weaken the body first. It drains the spirit. After retirement, many people welcome the silence. No schedules. No meetings. No constant demands. At first, the calm feels deserved. But slowly, the quiet grows heavier. Days pass with little conversation. Weeks pass without meaningful contact. Small routines disappear. Clubs dissolve. Regular gatherings fade. Family visits become less frequent. Technology replaces presence. Messages replace voices. Screens replace faces. Many older adults do not notice the shift at first. They tell themselves this is normal. But isolation does not remain emotional. It becomes physical. Research consistently shows a troubling pattern. Social isolation increases the risk of early decline. It weakens immune response. It accelerates memory loss. Loneliness quietly strains the heart. It raises blood pressure. It disrupts sleep. Over time, the mind loses stimulation. Words come slower. Names slip away. Attention wanders. The most painful loss is identity. People begin to feel invisible. Consider someone who once led others. They were organized, engaged, respected. After retirement, contact thins. Days become quiet. Too quiet. One morning, they realize something unsettling. They have spoken more to pets than people. This realization hurts deeply, not because of numbers or tests, but because of meaning. Loneliness tells the mind a dangerous story. It says you are no longer needed. This belief is corrosive. It weakens motivation. It dulls curiosity. It reduces the desire to care for oneself. This is why isolation is so damaging. It attacks purpose. But connection is powerful medicine. Older adults with strong social ties live longer, clearer, and more resilient lives. The protection does not come from popularity. It comes from presence. One meaningful conversation matters more than a room full of acquaintances. The shift begins with intention. Small actions create momentum. A simple greeting becomes a short conversation. Short conversations become familiar faces. Routine matters. Shopping at the same time each week. Visiting the same cafe. Walking the same route. Familiarity creates comfort. Comfort creates connection. Community activities become lifelines. Book clubs. Gardening groups. Volunteering a few hours weekly. Purpose returns through contribution. Giving time restores value. Technology becomes a bridge, not a replacement. Video calls reconnect generations. Faces replace text. Laughter returns to living rooms. The most effective connections are regular, not intense, not exhausting, just consistent. A weekly call, a shared meal, a standing invitation. Depth matters more than frequency. Talking about feelings, not just facts. Sharing stories, not headlines. Joy must be protected. Connections should lift energy, not drain it. Over time, changes appear. Mood improves. Sleep deepens. Thinking sharpens. Blood pressure often stabilizes. Energy returns. Calendars fill again, but with meaning. There are fewer obligations, but more anticipation. Life feels wider. The isolation time bomb does not explode loudly. It erodes quietly. But it can be diffused. One relationship can make a difference. Two can transform health. No supplement replaces human connection. No pill restores purpose. If this message resonates, comment below to let us know you are here. And if you value calm, practical guidance for healthy aging, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs without fear. Because the final mistake is often ignored. It affects the brain directly. And many people assume it is simply normal aging. Mistake 5. The memory myth. This fifth mistake is not loud, but it is one of the most destructive. It hides inside a common belief. A belief repeated for decades. That memory loss is simply part of aging. Forgetting names feels harmless. Losing keys feels normal. Walking into a room and forgetting why becomes a familiar joke. These moments are dismissed, laughed off, ignored. They are often called senior moments. But this belief quietly weakens the brain. The danger is not the forgetting itself. The danger is what follows acceptance. When people believe decline is inevitable, they stop resisting it. They stop challenging their minds. They stop learning unfamiliar things. They stop stretching their thinking. The brain notices this withdrawal. Just like muscles, the brain adapts to how it is used. Unused abilities weaken. Connections thin. Mental sharpness fades quietly. This is not caused by age. It is caused by neglect. Research consistently confirms this pattern. Older adults who accept memory loss as unavoidable decline far faster than those who stay mentally active. The difference is not education. It is expectation. Consider someone in their early 70s who once trusted their memory. At first, changes seem minor. Names take longer to recall. Appointments require notes. Conversations feel harder to follow. Nothing feels alarming. Then one moment changes everything. They become lost on a familiar drive. A route taken for many years. Confusion sets in. Panic follows. Sitting alone. They feel something deeper than fear. They feel trust in their own mind slipping. This moment is common and deeply unsettling. Many people respond by retreating. They rely more on others. They avoid complex tasks. They stop testing themselves. They tell themselves this is normal. This response accelerates decline because the brain responds to belief. If the brain is treated as fragile, it behaves that way. But the truth is far more hopeful. The human brain remains adaptable throughout the entire lifespan. This ability is called neuroplasticity. It allows the brain to change, to grow, to rebuild. New connections can form. Existing ones can strengthen. Age does not remove this capacity. Inactivity does. When the brain is challenged, it responds with growth. Effort sends a powerful signal. Learning creates new pathways. Difficulty strengthens resilience. Novelty sharpens attention. The key is not intensity. It is consistency. Short daily challenges matter. Simple memory exercises. Problem-solving tasks. Pattern recognition. These are not tests. They are training. Learning something completely new is especially powerful. A language. A musical instrument. A creative skill. New skills force the brain to form unfamiliar connections. Reading also plays an important role. Not easy reading. Material that demands focus. Writing reinforces memory further. Journaling experiences. Summarizing ideas. Reflecting on learning. Teaching what you learn. Deepens understanding dramatically. Explaining information strengthens recall. Movement supports the brain as well. Daily walking improves blood flow. It nourishes brain tissue. Exercise increases proteins, linked to new brain cell growth. Dance offers unique benefits. It combines movement, memory, and coordination. Multiple brain regions activate together. This strengthens overall cognitive function. Practical memory tools amplify progress, linking information to familiar places, creating short stories to remember lists. Associations make recall easier. Using calendars intentionally. Repeating names aloud. Visualizing information. These habits train attention. Over weeks, subtle changes appear. Focus improves. Words return faster. Mental fatigue decreases. Over months, results become noticeable. Thinking feels clearer. Attention lasts longer. Confidence rebuilds. Brain imaging often reveals surprises. Areas expected to decline show renewed activity. What once felt lost was often only unused. The most important shift is internal. Belief changes. The brain is no longer fragile. It is responsive. This belief fuels continued growth. Scientists call this cognitive reserve, a protective buffer built through challenge. It delays decline. It strengthens resilience. The memory myth is dangerous because it convinces people to give up early. Aging does not require surrender. The brain is not finished learning. Not at 70. Not at 80. Not ever. And this brings us to the bigger picture. Most people do not decline suddenly. They fade quietly. Too many medications. Processed food disguised as healthy. Less movement driven by fear. Fewer conversations over time. And a belief that the mind must weaken. Each mistake feels small. Together, they quietly shorten independence. The danger is not dramatic. It is gradual acceptance. But awareness changes direction. When medications are reviewed, clarity often returns. When the pantry is simplified, energy improves. When movement is restored, confidence grows. When connection is rebuilt, purpose returns. When the mind is challenged, the brain responds. Aging does not have to mean shrinking. It can mean refining. The years ahead can still hold strength, clarity, meaning. Small daily choices matter more than genetics. Not perfection. Consistency. You are not powerless. Each adjustment is an investment in your future self. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below. Share one small change you plan to make. If you value calm, practical guidance for healthy aging, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs without fear. Thank you for spending this time with us. Remember this. The passing years are not the enemy. Quiet resignation is. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.